This all started Memorial Day. It's a day when we remember those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And on that day, as journalists, we share the stories of some of our local heroes. Instead, one interview I did with a local woman this Memorial Day launched a 5-month investigation into a case of possible stolen valor.
Semper Fidelis. It means always faithful. And you can see that dedication, that loyalty to country being honored at the funeral of a fallen Marine. It was at a military funeral ceremony that we found someone claiming to be one of those faithful, one of the few and the proud. She was convincing a lot of people here, some veterans, the Patriot Guard that she rode here with, even me.
It's very emotional. It is, because you lose people, and that's kind of your way of, I guess, saying goodbye or having closure.
I interviewed Julie Johns a few days before Memorial Day at the Alabama National Cemetery, a sacred place. She told me she was a 16-year veteran, a retired master sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, and a war veteran on 2 separate fields of battle.
I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom.
After this story aired, it was shared online at WIAT.com, then started gaining attention in Facebook groups for female Marines. And something about Julie Johns' story didn't sit right with them.
There were over 1,300 posts attached to that thing. Us women were angry. Yeah.
I received dozens of emails from Marines, all claiming that Julie Johns was an imposter. The WIAT News investigative team flew to South Carolina to speak to 3 of them in person.
How dare you try to steal the honor that my sisters have earned?
I would just say shame on you for even just having the guts to say that you're a Marine.
They told me to be a Marine means they proved a lot of people wrong.
I had people tell me I couldn't do it.
I surprised them all.
Don't claim my title, I earned it.
So we dug deeper into Julie Johns' past. Was she lying? Throughout my entire 5-month investigation, I spoke with Julie Johns on the phone 5 times, went to her house 3 times. She never wanted to be recorded, but she did talk to me. No matter what the accusation, Johns had an explanation for everything. The female Marines called the medals and ribbons Julie Johns wore during our interview a red flag.
To a civilian, they just look like eye candy. But to somebody that's in the military, especially somebody that's been in a while, it's a story. She had 3 bronze stars sitting on there. How do you accomplish that?
Johns told me the medals weren't hers. They belonged to friends of hers, and she wore them as a tribute.
No,
Absolutely not. No Marine would do that.
The female Marines told me to ask Johns for her discharge papers.
We all have one. If we don't have it in our possession, you can contact headquarters.
Julie Johns didn't have hers. I kept digging and kept checking everything Julie Johns had ever told me. She told me she was medically discharged and received benefits from Veterans Affairs. The VA Medical Center in Birmingham told me they were unable to locate any information on Miss Johns, meaning she had never received VA benefits in Alabama. Julie Johns also told me she was a drill instructor on Parrish Island. I contacted the Deputy Director of Public Affairs on Parrish Island. She checked their records and said if Julie Johns were a drill instructor, we would definitely have a record of her, and we don't. Finally, I contacted the United States Marine Corps Manpower Division. They pulled Julie Johns' official file from the National Personnel Records Center in St. Louis. Their records show Julie Johns reported to recruit training on January 6, 1997, and was released on January 21, 1997. Her story never quite added up, but here's what did. I investigated for more than 160 days, made dozens of phone calls and emails, and traveled nearly 500 miles. Finally, after 5 months, our investigative team visited her house one final time on October 28th. Julie Johns called me back November 4th, finally ready to set the record straight. She didn't want to do an interview. She still didn't want to be recorded. But she did have a message. I'm sorry. Julie Johns told me, quote, I didn't do it to hurt anybody. She finally admitted she didn't serve 16 years. She served 16 days and was released from boot camp for minor medical reasons and never went back. She said she started lying about her service record around 2000 after some difficult moments in her life. But why? Why do this? She told me, quote, it was easier to carry on with a whole different life. Her message to the real Marines and to those who served in war like she claimed to, I have the utmost respect for them. I don't think sorry is going to be enough, but I don't know what else to say. I come from a military family. I realize what I did. I realize what I did was completely unacceptable. At the end of our conversation, I asked if there was anything else she wanted to say to female Marines, to military members everywhere. Quote, that it will never happen again.